All right, guys, so on today's vlog, we're gonna step a little bit out of our comfort zone.
Effortlessly, time gets spent when I'm with you. Days have no beginning and nights have no end when I'm with you. And even though it don't always make sense when I'm with you.
All right, guys, so the cut that we did today, this is the haircut and color. So I actually colored the mannequin. I know I don't do that very often. You might see why, you might not. I finished this cut and I felt like it needed a little bit of hair color, so we do that at the end as well. I'll walk you through the technique. You can let me know what you think. So here's the cut. The cut is a short, kind of cropped square bob, one length throughout the perimeter of the haircut, so it's really nice and heavy. Then I go through and I layer into the top, and we create this really fun shattered fringe that has been popping up all over Instagram, pretty much everywhere. This isn't necessarily what your guests are gonna be asking for exactly, but the techniques are cool. It's great for a guest that wants to, get a little bit more creative with their hair. I think you guys are gonna like it. Let's get started with the step-by-step. All right, so we're gonna base the entire haircut off of the very center of the crown. So I'm gonna take each of my partings diagonal across the parietal ridge down to that recession point of the head. We're creating a nice triangle shape on the top. Based on that triangle shape, then I'm going to draw two more diagonal forward partings down to behind the ear on each side to section off those triangles. So we're going to work this whole entire haircut off of triangular shapes. Now I'm going to take a parting straight down center back, dividing the back into two sections, and comb each of those panels off to the side. We're going to be using our Mizutani Blacksmith Fit 6.5-inch scissor. This is one of the very first Mizutani scissors I ever had, and I really love the way that it cuts. It's got a nice solid feel to it and a very comfortable handle. All right, so now we get those sections clipped away. We took diagonal forward sections along the occipital bone, and I really wanted to line that diagonal section or diagonal parting up with how I want the outer perimeter of the haircut to fall. Now I'm working scissor over comb. Key things on this is to make sure that you keep that steady blade along the ridge of the comb. This is my 339 comb from YS Park. I'm just working that. I like using the loose teeth when doing scissor over comb and working a lot of bulk out of the hair. So we're just going through there. The wider the teeth, it allows the comb to really slide through the hair. Then when you go in, you want to work around the nape. You want to work in tighter places. Using the tighter teeth works, but this is just a good way to get that bulk out of there. So you'll see me go through and I just quickly cut the hair, not worrying too much about the precision part of it. Then I go through and I really start detailing it once I get the length where I want it. Now we're going to go through with our blow dryer real quick and just blow dry this with the comb tension, so it allows the hair to lay the way that it should to make sure that our cut is exactly the way we wanted it to be. So I'm going through just detailing the outer edges, and we're going to start to build our graduation here. So everything's coming straight back towards me. I'm cutting a even square back in the back of the head, so parallel with my shoulders as I'm cutting. So what's going to be happening is towards the inside of my finger, I'm actually building up quite a bit of weight because of the over direction and because we're rounding that corner and over directing it back at the same time. So we're building up a little bit of weight, which is cool because it kind of aids in the shape of the haircut at the very end, which you'll see when we blow it dry. Also, what it does is because we're doing the over direction, it's pushing the angle towards the face already. So because we're over directing it back, it pushes weight to the front and length to the front. So it really starts that outer perimeter line that we were talking about at the beginning. So now I'm going to work that diagonal forward parting all the way through. We're going to start continuing into the side of the head at this point, and building in that outer perimeter line that we want to kind of follow above the jawbone, but diagonal towards right about the corner of the mouth. Key points on this part of the haircut is to make sure that you keep that elevation low. The higher you go with the elevation, the more broken the outer perimeter is going to be of the haircut, so you won't get that solid line that you're looking for. The other thing is you'll see that I separated the front and the back right here, and that was because naturally the hair wanted to fall from the crown, wanted to fall a little bit more backwards. So you have to be careful whenever you're taking your sections down. You want to see how the hair is going to fall naturally. Don't try to pull it too far from where it's going to fall naturally. Otherwise, you won't get those nice perimeter lines either. So just working through, that's the end result of that side. We're going to do the
exact same thing on the right side, working through, taking my guide from my previously cut side. You can see that I sectioned away a little bit of the I sectioned away the top of the left side just so I could grab a little piece of that to start my guideline. Now working diagonal forward through about 1/2 inch sections, not trying to take too much in my hand. I want to see a clean guide. I don't want to pull too much hair down, even though I am cutting a stationary guide in the back. So working through, you can see that angle and how it starts to unfold. I think this is a really good view of that now. So the over direction plays a key role in pushing that weight and length forward to behind the ear. And that gives us a good point to continue on when we get to the side of the head. So keeping that over direction back, working through the back of the head. So you can see how it kind of flows. It starts a little bit shorter in the center, and that weight grows towards behind the ear. That has everything to do with the over direction that we just did. So now I'm watching my finger angle. My fingers are basically pointing at the corner of the mouth. That's where I want that line to go. And I want this to be nice and solid. So again, not lifting it, not trying to elevate it too much because that'll break up the line. It'll add too much layering to the side of the head, and that's not what we're going for. So we got that finished up. I did another blow dry with the comb, just like I did on the back part. I really want to see this haircut shape happening as I'm doing it, so I'll do the blow dry after I finish each section. So we're going through the top. I find the point where the head starts to curve forward, because what we're going to do is we're going to cut that entire section I'm leaving out nice and short, a short bang kind of choppy fringe. And then the top, we're going to cut short to long, so shortest point in the back, longest point towards the bang area, because I want those long layered pieces to fall over the shorter bang, and that's what's going to give it that kind of modern feel that you're seeing now. All right, so we're going to go through and we're going to blow dry the bangs to prep them for the cut. So we're going to go through using a comb so we get as much tension as possible. And now you can see the motion I'm going to make with the scissor. I'm going to use that steady blade along the skin, working at about a 45-degree angle to create as much choppiness to the bangs as possible. And this is really all just by looking at it with your eye. It's however you want this to look. But you want to go nice and short with the bangs, because then that top layer that we cut earlier will fall over it, and that's what really completes the look. So one thing I'm going to do here is I separate the temple area just so that I don't go too far. This is more of a safety thing for me, just to make sure that as I'm cutting into the fringe, I'm only working on the specific area that I want to cut. So continuing through, chopping them up as much as I want to. This is, again, all personal preference, so just decide how much you want to cut. And the great thing is, I'm sure we all have a mannequin that has a lot of bangs on it, so we can go through and you guys can practice it, because these bangs are really short, so it's a pretty easy technique to find something to work on. All right, so now we're going to start off our color technique. The big difference between when I do hair cutting and when I do hair color is the color sectioning is going to be a little bit looser, a little more free. So as I go through, I'm taking a large horseshoe section around underneath the parietal ridge, underneath the low crown, and just working the depth. And so the color I chose for the bottom is a level 5 ash demi color. My goal with that was to add depth to the haircut. So now I'm going to go through, I'm going to section out the bang area and just start painting that level 5 again all the way through it. I wanted to keep that depth in the fringe, because what I wanted you to see is, in the end result, I want you to see that separation from the longer layers on top and the darker kind of choppier fringe on the bottom. So just adding that depth to the underneath. So now we're going through, you could call this balayage, you can call it whatever you want. I'm painting brightness to the ends. I'm using Sunlights and 40 volume. So it's a balayage lightener. And just going through, brightening up the ends, leaving a little bit of depth in the middle. And then once that processes, I'm going to go through and overlay it with a different color. So I'm not really so worried about the application of this, because I just want it to brighten it up. Obviously, I don't want any bleed marks or hot spots or anything like that. So you want to keep that saturation on there. But really the goal of this is to overlay it with another tone afterward. Now I let that process for 35 minutes. All right, now so we're gonna blow it dry. You can see the depth underneath from that smoky level 5 and then the pre-lightened top. The pre-lightened top is pretty much a red-orange. So what I'm going to do is go through with the Joico Peacock Green color, and that's going to almost neutralize it a little bit. You'll still have some of the green tone left over, but I really was going for more of a grungy feel because we have that really choppy PC short bang. So we let that sit for 20 minutes. Now we're going to blow it dry for the final time. And hair like this is definitely a little extra effort. So a lot of people try to do things in one process, but it's much better to go through and do everything the right way. So you can see that kind of smokiness, but also the green tone to it. I personally like it. You could have went with something like a pink or whatever you wanted throughout the color. You could have left the lightener on a little bit longer. You could have worked on a human and maybe gotten a little bit more lift, but I really kind of dig that smokiness to it. So now I've got it ironed out. I use my Vibra-Straight iron. Now I'm going to go through with a shorter scissor. I'm using my 5.7 inch DB20 scissor to work the edges of the haircut. So going through, like I say in pretty much every video, the edges of the haircut are not perfect lines when you cut them wet. You cut them wet to get the structure in there and the weight control, and then you go through dry and you perfect the line. So I'm just going through using that tip of the scissor. I'll go back and forth probably 20 times. I won't show you every single one of those times, and just go through and perfect that line until it's exactly the way I want it. Now, same thing with the fringe. I've got it blown dry again. So I'm going to go through with my scissor and chop it up, creating almost like a teeth look into it, going very deep. And then you can see that top layer falling over it. It's just got such a cool look. So now I'm going to go through, do some point cutting on the top layer, especially on that heavier point because we cut short to long. So the crown is the shortest point, which you can see there. And then it gets longer towards the front. So just elevating it nice and high, point cutting the very tip of that section just to lighten it up. Now we're going to go through with a little tease cutting, half open, half closed. You can find more videos on that technique. Just hit the search bar on our YouTube channel and you can find it. What I'm doing is grabbing the entire section, cutting that in half, so that I'm not cutting the layers around her face shorter, just the layers on top. Then I go through one final little flat wrap with the blow dry, just gets all those loose hairs out, and I grab the Bricado Carve, which we all know is my favorite product for adding pieciness and texture, and I go through and add that to the ends of the haircut. Pinching around the fringe just to add a little more separation, and then letting that top layer fall over. It's just such a cool look. I hope you guys can use it. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, so if you made it through the video, you know what to do. Post below, let me know what you thought of the video, hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and also, if you get a chance, you're looking for new scissors, go to freesaloneducation.com, pick up some Mizutani scissors. These are the ones I used all throughout the video. This is a 6.5 inch blacksmith fit scissor. Really cool scissor. I got a great deal on it at freesaloneducation.com, so go check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching and all of the support on these daily videos. Let me know also below what you would like to see next. I always love a little inspiration and ideas. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.
With the heart he holds, so naive, don't get caught by surprise. Find out, curly whip been leading them on. Heartbreaking, soul shaking.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have me.
What's up, guys? Welcome to today's vlog. Today what we're gonna go over is a nice short haircut. I haven't done a short haircut in a while. This one's got layers, disconnection in the temples. We do some scissor over comb work. We do all kinds of different things. But I also want to introduce you guys to a new scissor that I have on freesaloneducation.com. So I want to unbox that for you guys real quick. We did the entire haircut with this scissor, so I wanted to do kind of a comprehensive review of what this scissor is all about. This is the Scorum Ruzel scissor from Mizutani. You can see right there. It's the special edition scissor. We do have it available on freesaloneducation.com right now. But a few of my favorite things about this scissor is, one, the handle. The handle feels super comfortable in your hand. The other thing that I love about it, I love when a handle has this little groove in the thumb part, so it allows you to cut with just half your thumb in there. Makes it super comfortable for that. A lot of scissors are missing that, which I don't like, but Mizutani scissors never are missing that. Also, built-in tang. Love the built-in tang because it doesn't fall off all the time. Flat screw, nice skinny blade, but this scissor feels powerful in your hand. You can tell when you go scissor over comb with this scissor, the hair goes flying off because it's just super, super powerful. And that's what you want in this type of scissor. It's a 6-inch scissor, so a little bit longer, which I like, but I love the powerful feeling in this 6-inch scissor. So if you'd like to check out more information on this scissor, go to freesaloneducation.com and you can check out our special pricing on this scissor if you would like to purchase. Now, the haircut that we did for this video and with this scissor is this haircut right here. So key things that I love about it, we did disconnections in the temple like I talked about. The disconnections allow us to cut into those later, so we cut into those in the dry cut. We did a lot of layering and texturizing throughout the top, and then we disconnected this side portion here, and then it's nice and short in the back. We did some scissor over comb work. So a lot of salon friendly techniques you're gonna get in this whole video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Here we go. All right, so we're going to start off by sectioning the mannequin. Sectioning is a really important part of haircutting because it plans out exactly what you're going to do. With this particular haircut, what I'm going to do is section it right at the parting on the left-hand side. Then I'm going to section it straight down the division line, which is the high point of the head, down to directly behind the ear. And then I'm going to take a little square out of the temple area. That's going to play a key role in the haircut later on when we cut it dry. So I braid off what I want to be disconnected. Sometimes I like to separate the way that I section off hair. So I'll use clips on things that I'm going to cut wet, and then I'll braid things I'm going to leave for later. Sometimes I change the color of the clip. It just keeps you more organized throughout the haircut. So this sectioning is basically 2 small squares in the temple area. Then I have the bigger rectangle for the heavy side of the haircut, and then I have a smaller square for the weak side of the haircut. Now the scissor I'm choosing to use today is the Scorum Ruzel Mizutani scissor. It's a special edition scissor that we just became available on freesaloneducation.com. It's a 6-inch scissor. It talked about the benefits that I really love about the scissor. Now you can watch it in action as we cut through this haircut. It's just super powerful. It was one of my favorite things about the scissor. You could really feel the quality, feel the power as you cut through the hair. So now I comb everything to the side. I part directly down center back, and then I take diagonal forward sections to start my cut. I'm going parallel with the head shape. So what I'm trying to do is collapse the head shape and create a nice soft feel to the back of the haircut. We'll build up the weight when we get more towards the crown area. So right now I'm still elevating the hair pretty high in this portion of the haircut, even though I'm up on the crown, because I want to bring that weight up much higher than I would normally do on a bob. That's why this is more of a short haircut, not so much of a bob, but some people might still consider this a bob length. So we're working our way down the head shape, just smoothing that out. This could be for a guest that says, you know what, it's a little too heavy down at the bottom. Maybe they weren't looking for that. They want a little bit more stacked up. So this would be a great haircut for that. So see still how high I'm lifting my fingers. I really want to remove a lot of weight from this haircut and get a nice smooth feel to the back. And I'm tucking my fingers in, so as I move down the head shape, my finger angle will shift more towards the head. So right now I'm parallel coming off of the head shape, and then as I work my way down the head shape, you can see how my finger angle shifts. Also, the way I hold the scissor shifts because it makes me more comfortable. So I take my thumb out of the scissor the normal way, and I put it in the back direction of the scissor just to create a more comfortable feel for the scissor. If you use a swivel scissor, you wouldn't have to do this. You don't have to do this in regular hair cutting either. It just seems to be more comfortable for me as I work down certain sections. So you can see how we've kind of pushed some weight forward. That all comes with that over direction. So as we worked our way down, we over directed everything back, pushed a little bit of weight to the front. Now I'm going through with scissor over comb. This is where this scissor really shines, which
One of my favorite things about the scissor is working with it scissor over comb. It just blasted through the back, but really I just did that scissor over comb as a almost like a cross check through the back, because I went through and cut diagonal forward, almost like diagonal vertical in my sectioning in my fingers. So then I go through horizontally with the scissor over comb, which just cleans everything up, make sure I'm nice and consistent with my hair cutting. So same thing on this side. The only difference is my fingers are now pointing down. I've talked about this a lot in the past, but if you've never seen any of the videos, the reason I'm now pointing down is you have to stay consistent with the way you comb. Combing is what makes you a great hair cutter. It has nothing to do with cutting the hair. It has everything to do with how you comb it, how you place the hair, how clean you take your sections. So what we're doing is we're pushing the new hair towards our guideline. Our guideline is coming from the center, being traveling across the head, but you want to push that new hair, which is coming from the side, into the guideline instead of pulling your guideline from where it lives over. That's just going to stretch your haircut out, and then you're going to end up with two sides, one side longer than the other. So now I'm just going to go through and soften off the graduation that we created in the top crown area of the haircut. So I went through with a little bit of high elevation just to round off that corner a bit, and then I go through and just a little point cutting to soften right at the low crown area horizontally, just to soften the shape. And we'll go through, scissor over comb. Then what I'm going to do is blow dry the entire back section, the back half of the haircut, because I want to see how it's laying. And I like to go through section by section in a haircut to make sure that it's right before I move on to the next section. So you can see that shape that's been built up. Now what we've done is we over directed all the hair in the wet cut back towards us. So now what I want to do is elevate it straight up vertically and just point cut into it to remove a slight bit of weight, because sometimes when you over direct stuff back, it's going to be a little bit heavier than you want it to be in the end result. So I just over direct it back, do a little bit of point cutting to soften it up. So now we're going to work on the side section of the hair just directly above the disconnection. And what I want to do is over direct that back to my previously cut section. So I'll get my guideline from the side of the head, right at that division point. Then we're over directing everything above the ear. What that's going to do is give me a little bit of length pushed forward, and also remove quite a bit of weight because we're following the round of the head. So it'll be a nice soft angle to the side of the hair, but it pushes that weight forward, so it'll be a nice soft look. So now we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side, taking that guide from the bottom, and I want to create a short to long portion throughout the top of the haircut. So the longest point is going to be over the part, and I'm following the head shape from the rest of the haircut down. So just allowing that longer piece to sit on the top kind of gives them some flexibility throughout the top of the haircut. But it also blends the haircut on the side if they style it back. So once I get that cut, now I let the disconnections out. I add a little bit of the Bricato mousse, and I'm going to go through and blow dry the rest of the haircut nice and smooth. Now it's going to look a little funny as we start to blow dry this haircut, only because we have those disconnections in there. But trust me, we're going to cut into those disconnections so it won't look like you have those long pieces hanging down. The great thing about leaving the disconnections in the haircut is that now we can go in and customize them to fit the haircut that we're looking for. So you can start to see that shape that happens on top and how it kind of collapses right before the disconnection, and then the disconnection gets nice and thick. So that's what we're going to do, is go into that with a razor and cut into it so that we can soften it, connect it to the haircut, and give it a nice cool flow to it. So we'll go through with our VibraStraight iron just to get it nice and polished, and then we're going to use our carving comb razor. This is a really cool tool we have on freesaloneducation.com. It's $34.95. It's a great price to add to your kit, and it cuts dry hair really well, but it also cuts wet hair really well. So we're going through with our 100% carved side of the carving comb and just pinching the hair and sliding the razor through to create our lines. So we want this to be nice and broken, nice and soft. So it's a heavy stroke with the razor, which will create some kind of light, airy pieces through there. And then I just pinch and cut. So you can see how it just breaks it up. I like the pieciness of that haircut. I like the shattered look. That's the whole purpose of the razor. If I wanted more of a blunt look, I would go in with a scissor. And then I can even go through with our bang area and just soften that a little bit. Now we're going to do what we call kind of a point cutting technique with the carving comb. The cool thing about the carving comb is it cuts on both sides. So it's got a 100% cut side and a 50% cut side. So we just go through, lift up the hair. You can slide the carving comb across your fingers and it point cuts and takes out a ton of density throughout the haircut. And you get that kind of textured PC look really easily, which is pretty cool. Now we're going to go into our Bricato Carve. It's a texture cream, and I'm going to use that to style. And what I like to do is run that through my hands for just about 30 seconds just to get it starts to firm up in my hands. And then as I go into the haircut, it styles it a lot more. It doesn't give it a wet look to the haircut. So you can see all that texture that pops out using those disconnections, using the texture techniques, cutting those shorter layers, and that is our end result. Hope you guys like it. Let me know.
All right, guys, so if you like this haircut and you like this scissor, then go to freesaloneducation.com, pick that up. Also go to freesaloneducation.com, check out all of our videos we have on there. Over 600 free education videos for hairstylists. So hit the like button, hit the share button, share this video with all of your friends. I really appreciate all of your guys' support always with these videos. Also check out fsesocial.com, which is our social website where you can post your own photos, ask questions, and get involved with our community of over 5,000 hairstylists on there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks. Brian got a new car, and of course he pulls up with an entrance. Yeah, I'm just trying to film. No worries. How's it going? Yeah. See your new car.
I had no idea. I know how to drive a stick.
Sweet ride.
You like it?
I do like it. It's even a darker gray than I thought it was going to be.
Down, unlock my own doors. I asked him, I was like, how much is it for automatic locks? He said $2,000. I said, for $2,000, I'll lean across. Thanks. Thanks for a good job so I can get a nice car.
I need to get that on video.
Good. Can rewatch it.
Yeah.